Okay, so let's see what is directives. Actually, whatever we are doing now, whatever we had studied still, those are the basics of that. Now we are jumping into the logical point, that how we can iterate the data, because whatever we had studied still and whatever we are converting the project into from the HTML to Angular, what you are doing now, whatever code is written in the HTML, you are just copy and pasting in the component .html and component on CSS. Correct. We are not doing anything related to the Angular. But once we will learn the directive, we will start jumping on the Angular part. We will again modify that project. But wherever we will require, means where we will modify, we will see that scenario and why we will modify. So let's see directive. Don't be confused in two terms. One is a decorator and one is a directive. Okay, because otherwise these two terms are means looking like related. Decorator and directive. These both term will be confusing type, because a decorator and a directive both will be starting from the D itself. So while interview you will get confused. So be careful. So decorator means what? As you listening the word decorator, only one keyword have to strike in your mind, that is at the rate. Got it?
Annotation.
Yeah. So as you will get at the rate, directly second point you have to strike component, module, those all things. At the rate component, at the rate module. So as you will see a step by step, you can strike that at that point of time. Otherwise you will get confused whether what is directive and what is decorator. So be careful. Decorator directly strike the mind in, means directly strike at the rate symbol. As you got at the rate symbol, look into the code at the rate component, at the rate ng module. Like this type you can move in the next step. Okay, otherwise you will get confused. And this is the most important question also. If you are attending interviews, sure and short, directive and decorator question will come. So what is directive? So Angular directives are most important feature of the Angular. In this tutorial we look at three types of directive at that Angular supports. Like there are three types of directive, that is component directive, a structural directive, and attribute directive. Only three type. How many type of decorator? How many type of decorator? अगर मैं 5 मिनट पूछा, अगर किसी ने नहीं बोला मैं बंद कर दूंगा
Models,
सच में।
there are
और
two
फिर हम लोग
types.
1 महीना के बाद आएंगे। बहुत हुआ ये 2 दिन का क्लास सस्पेंड करना, पूरे 1 महीना। Yeah. Now what is decorator? Means sorry, type of decorator. नहीं आता है, मुंह खोल के बोलिए नहीं
Sir,
आता है
modules
बस।
and components, sir.
Okay. Decorator.
Component.
Module.
Component.
Yeah, fine. Component. Module. Next. Injector. Injector was also there, correct? I forget. Comma property. Is this? Is this correct or not?
Yes, sir. Only 4.
Yeah. So I think injector was there. Okay. So there are 4 type of the decorator. Now we will move in the decorator. So what is the need of decorator? So with the help, actually what decorator was taking? Decorator was taking these all different means we was taking different type of the decorator. These all decorator by taking the metadata. Correct or not? In the case of the module, it was taking at the rate ng module. Correct? And at the rate ng module, ng module method object. Yeah. So at the rate ng module, and this ng module was taking some metadata, and it was telling that how the component will run. Means it was telling regarding the process. So now directives. So what directive will do? Directive is going to manipulate the DOM. Okay, that's very simple definition. What is directive? So the Angular directive help us to manipulate the DOM. Now the question came, what is DOM? What is DOM? Document object model. Fine, means whatever UI we are getting. So with the help of directives, we can change the appearance, behavior, or layout of a DOM element using the directives. With the help of directives, we can change or we can manipulate the DOM, means UI. Like suppose that same thing if you want to manipulate the DOM with the help of suppose CSS or JavaScript, how you can do? Can you imagine anything?
Yes,
Means
sir.
yeah, how we can do that?
In this UI page, we are going to right click and we come inspect mode, and in inspect mode, we will come in a style section, and we are going with the help of ID and class, we are going to change that.
Yeah, but means simple we can tell that we have to manipulate. Manipulate means
Yes,
disturbing the DOM. Correct.
yes, yes,
We are going
yes.
to change. So we can simply tell that we can add one click event, and on the click event we can change the color of the UI, or we can do something. Means just when we will click, something will happen on the UI. When we will click again, something will happen. Means why this process we can manipulate and we can change the DOM.
Yes,
Correct. So that
there
we can
clearly
do.
mention appearance, behave, and layout. Clearly they
Yeah.
mention over here.
So here already we are using the term appearance, behavior, and layout. It going to change. So in interview, if they asking what is directive, just simply tell that the Angular directive help us to manipulate the DOM. With the help of that, we can change the appearance, behavior, and layout of a DOM element. That's it. Next, using the directive, they help you to extend the HTML. In interview, if you have to just speak up to here. That's it. Layout of a DOM element. Give here full stop.
Yes,
This
sir.
much this much point only.
If you are going to tell using the directive, they help to extend HTML, definitely they will ask another question, sir.
Yeah, no need that one, but you can tell up to here. That's fine. Okay. So directives in Angular is a JavaScript class which is declared as at the rate directives. Fine. So we can create that. We can create our custom directive also with the help of at the rate directive. So sometime in interview they are asking that we can create our custom directive or not. So we can create that. As like in decorator, we can create our custom decorator or not. So we can create that. How we can create? Just mark any class name as like at the rate, it become your custom decorator. Same type directive case, we can mark any class as a, we can declare the class as a means at the rate directives. So it become your custom directive. We will see. If you want, you can look over that. I will share you the topic that how we can create the custom directive. That also we can. Okay. So there are three kind of the directive. So three time means first is component directive, second is a structural directive, third is attribute directive. Next, directives. The combination of component directive, structural, and attribute. This become the complete directives. Now, the point came. What is component directive? Component is component directive, and is the component which we know both are same or different. First point.
Both are same, sir.
Both are same. What about others? Is both same or other means different? I will not ask how and why, but whether it's what you're thinking, whether it is same or different. So that is same. Okay. Whatever component we know still, what are the files the component is containing? In one component, what are the files will be available?
Yeah, .html, .css, .ts, and
Yeah.
testing
Let
purpose.
let it
Dot
let it to be
ts.
a spec, but mostly we will discuss regarding the three file HTML, CSS, and TypeScript. Fine. So these all three. So how we can manipulate a DOM with the help of a component? So there is a special directive which is always present in Angular app, where each of the HTML pages associated with the directive with a template. Component directive is a class. Here is the definition. Component directive is a class with @component decorator function. Anyone having doubt in this line? Because in component directive
No, sir.
already we know that in component @component decorator will be there. So that itself is written here. And why they are telling that as a function, parentheses are available there. So next, as we know that Angular app contain at least one component called app component, which is root component, app component. And in app component, which is present inside the app component.ts. Fine. App component.ts file. In this file, we will see that with the help of selector, we going to target that component. Correct.
Yes.
Component, which is a decorator function, is used to create the component directive. Means we are going to target, and with the help of that selector, we going to use that as a component directive. Next, even we create our own component, we will use the decorator function and create the component directive. Clear? Means if we going to create our own component, so that also will behave as the directive. It's not that only app component will behave as that directive. So how we will refer that particular component? Means if you have to make that as a directive or anything, so how we will refer that component? With the help of which one? Which metadata?
Sir,
How?
import and models means component declaration.
No. With the help of which metadata we will? ये कौन है भाई?
Selector, sir.
Yeah, so that is selector.
Clearly mentioned over here, sir.
That is
Sweta, so clever, Sweta.
everybody is sleeping. That is
Except Sweta. Huh?
yeah, who are wake up, they are getting that. Okay, so with the help of component means any component, whatever component we are creating, so with the help of their selector, we can easily refer that. So component decorator, we will use that decorator function and create the component directive. It is not possible to render our template without using the selector property, because if selector is not there, what are you thinking? Will you refer that component without
No, sure.
selector?
No, sure. No,
No,
sure.
we can't refer that HTML, CSS and TypeScript page. So with the help of this property, we will create a component directive. Fine. So there was nothing. Maybe you can't means get any more point inside that. So if you will get the question that what is component directive, just you have to explain regarding the component. That's it. What are the files are available in the component? How you are doing? How you are manipulating? Means
And how?
if we will write anything on the HTML, when we will change the component, UI getting manipulate. Correct. Suppose you have navigation bar, home, about, contact, gallery, and from the home you are moving to the gallery section. As you clicking the navigation bar of the gallery, you redirecting from the home to the that gallery. Mute who is on that. So we will navigate from the home to the gallery. So what will happen on the UI? Previously you was getting home component, but due to navigation bar, you redirected to the gallery component. Correct. And on the UI, on the DOM, you will get the content of the which one? You will get the content of the gallery part. Means gallery component. Means this way we are telling that manipulating. With the help of component, we are manipulating. Then color changes. These all things, different behaviors are there. So whatever component we know, that itself you have to explain that it will contain HTML, CSS, TypeScript file. So what are the HTML we are writing? With the help of the TypeScript and CSS, it become the part of our DOM. Like that, we can write that. Fine. So next, what is so second type is the structural directive. This is important. Okay. So a structural directive means it going to change the structure. A structural directive modifies or manipulate the structure of the DOM by adding or removing the DOM element. Fine. Means it will add or remove the DOM element. Next, we can say that basically it work on the structure of the DOM. Now, how you can tell that whether it going to add or remove from the DOM? When we will tell? how we can tell whether it going to add or remove from the DOM? Any idea?
No, sir. No idea, sir.
Okay, see now. Why I open this one? Where is inspect? Yeah. So now see, be getting the paragraph. Now do one thing. Add here. Okay, let it to be this directive itself. Fine. I going to change the color, or otherwise just write something. What we got? We got a hello world. Means the structure got changed.
Yes.
Now previously we was getting something. Now that content got removed, and now another content came. So this become the adding or removing from the DOM, because previously we getting something, but we had removed. This we had done hard coded. Means sorry, we done with the help of the inspect property. This is just temporary, but same thing we can do with the help of the code also. That will be the permanent. So that thing itself came here, removing from the DOM element, mute, removing the DOM element. Fine, adding or removing. How we will do? We will see that. Next, we can say that basically it work on the structure of the DOM. So with the help of the structure directive, we can change that DOM structure itself. So what is that structure directive? Simply you can tell it going to modify or manipulate the structure of the DOM by adding or removing the element. This is the main key point. Don't skip this point. Adding or removing the DOM element. Fine. I will show you how we are telling that this is important point. Next, Angular provides several structure directive which have a star sign, a strict symbol, a star sign before the directive. So for example, a star ng if, a star ng for, a star ng switch. Different structural directives are there. So here some common example, some examples are written. Commonly used structural directive. First is ng for. We will look more deep regarding these all one by one. But here just we are writing some sample examples. So ng for. So here we are writing something example. No need explanation now. I will explain this later when we will discuss one by one. So this was complete a structural directive. So how we will write the structural directive? First structural directive is ng for. So but when we writing the structural directive, we have to add a strict symbol, that is a star symbol in front of that, that is a star ng for. Okay. And one thing, for F will be capital letter, not the small letter. Same type, ng switch, S will be capital letter, not the small letter. What is this notation?
Camel case.
Yeah, camel case. So
Camel
we have to
case.
follow the camel case notation. So again, ng switch directive. So what the all will we do? We will learn there. We will spend time a lot on that time. Here just for the showing purpose, it's written there. Then again, ngfa. What is that? Star ngfa. We will not write directly ngfa. Okay, we will write a star ngfa. Okay, next attribute directive. So attribute directive deal with the changing of look and behavior of the DOM element, component or another directive. एक सेकंड पानी पीने दो पहले. It is also used as a attributes of the element. Now tell me, what is attribute in the CSS? Give an example. What is the attributes of image tag?
IMG.
SRC, ALT.
1 second.
height,
IMG is
width.
attribute.
No, sir, SRC.
SRC. Okay. Other. Next.
ALT,
Target.
height.
Target is attribute of IMG tag.
Alt, sir, alt.
Alt. Okay. Okay. Which attribute is target?
Anchor.
Anchor tag. Yeah. Okay. IMG have what all attribute IMG tag have? Tell me all attribute.
SRC, ALT.
Okay.
Width.
What?
Width we can take, sir, without using
Yeah,
style.
that's the thing that
Height
I
and
was
width
asking.
we can take.
Height and width. So
Yes.
IMG have only means by default attribute that is height and width. Remaining no one having that. Only in image tag we can use that one. And in remaining we have to use with the help of the style tag. Means a style attribute. Sorry, not that. Okay. So attribute. So that type itself we will use the attribute here also. We will see that. Commonly used attribute. What is that? NG model. Okay, NG model directive is used to achieve the two-way data binding. We have covered NG module directive in data binding. Already we had seen how we was how we was passing data from the HTML page to TS and TS page to HTML with the help of the NG model. That is two-way binding. Having the idea or got finish? This type we was writing, I think, correct?
Yes, sir.
This type we have to write that NG model, and this become the used for the two-way binding. Next, NG class. Had we seen NG class?
No, sir.
No, correct. Anyone other? We had a
No, sir.
spend. Okay, fine. No others.
Sir, class since sir means
I had a spend one complete day on this NG class, and one more day means 2 days I had a spend on this NG class.
Yes, sir.
Ternary operator, how we can change the class, I mean say CSS part means how we can manipulate the style conditionally with the help of NG class. And why we was writing NG class, and why not we can write in that just a simple style, that also we had seen. In NG class we had seen we can pass the function even, correct? We can return, we can get the value from the function call, but means method call, not function call here. But in the style we can't add the method or function, but in NG class we can. Then we had seen how we can add the ternary operator, means if condition is yes or no, on that basis we can add the means we can even hide and show, means everything we can perform all the styles. So actually NG class is used for the styling purpose. We had seen, who had missed, please you can look over the class, that previous video, you will get that understanding. So NG class is used to add and remove the CSS class. Okay, it is for the means as like in HTML we are using the class and ID for the style purpose. Same type here also, that is used for the CSS part itself. So using the NG class, one can create that dynamic style in the HTML page like this. We can write that. Next is NG style. We have not seen the NG style. We will see that. NG style again, we will write the same type actually. Means as we are writing the NG class. See within the square bracket. What is this one known as? A square bracket?
property binding.
Property binding. So we have to write like the property binding. And then here also we are doing NG style. And here see, we are passing the style, color, and then font size, then something, means just as like we are writing the style, simple style, same type we can write like the property binding, means inside the property binding also. There is nothing more different. But here you can see, used to manipulate the style property of our HTML elements, we can also bind these property value that can be updated by the user or our components. Okay. So we will look over that NG style. NG style is not there, means we had not covered. We will see that. Got it? So this was the thing. So what are the questions we will get from this topic? What are the attributes? Sorry, what is directive? How many type of directive?
3 type of directive.
Let me write that question here. Yeah, tell. First question.
what is
Yeah. What is a
is
directive?
yes,
Next.
how many type of directive? Types of directive.
Types of directive. Next. Explain each. Next. What is difference between
NG style and NG class.
what DIFFEREN? What is the difference between COMPONENT component, comma structural structural and what was last? Attribute.
Attribute.
Attribute directive. Fine. Next.
With example.
Let it to be also. Explain with example. What is NG
NG style.
class and NG
Style.
style? Anything more? Yeah. How we will mark a structural DIRECTIVE. How we will mark a structural directive in Angular? How we will mark this?
Star.
A star symbol with the help of a star.
Like NG if, NG for.
GOL. Example NG.
NG if, NG for.
Okay. NG for, comma.
NG if.
Give here NG star. NG if. TC. Fine. We will not get much question in this, but once we will explain each of that, because we had just looked over what are the directives. We had not gone on the each one explanation. Actually, today my plan was that to cover this topic also, but I don't know what had happened. So this structural directive, we will cover this again each. This is complete for that three part only. NG for, NG if, and NG switch. These all. Because then only you can work on the project. Once you will get this part, then you can think now you are able to do more and more tasks in the Angular side. Because then you will see that what is the benefit of using Angular. Let me stop that.